Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2016 AdWheel Awards ceremony. Now, please welcome LA Metro Chief Communications Officer and your MC for this afternoon, Pauletta Tonilis.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to see you here, and I'm so pleased to be here as your hostess today. Welcome to Los Angeles. Are you guys having a great time? Yeah? You guys can do better than that. Are you having a great time? Yes. Very good. Well, we're pleased to host you here in Los Angeles, and I hope that you've had some time to explore the city and our system, or if you haven't, that you're going to be able to enjoy that and spend some time using the tap card that we provided you to go right around and discover all that Los Angeles has to offer. Go to the beach, enjoy the music, the theater, all of the arts, Hollywood, and the Walk of Fame. You know, Los Angeles is really known for all of its glitz and glamour, but there's a lot more to Los Angeles than that, than just all the stars and all the fame. And interestingly enough, the entertainment industry and the transit industry have a lot in common. So these multi-billion-dollar industries, if you look behind the curtain, behind the scenes, is the work that we do every day to put a face and a name to these industries, to position them and to give them image and to make other people understand what it's all about. And so the work that we do as marketing and communications professionals is significant in terms of the strategic approach of how the transit industry is elevated, how it's understood, how the public understands what transit is all about, and it is the proud work that we all do every day, and it is work that I am so proud to be a part of, and an industry that I am so proud to be a part of. You know, it's interesting because I think you guys can relate to this. Everybody thinks they know how to do communications, right? I mean, in our industry, the financial modeling and all the engineering and the construction, people don't even have a clue, and they, you know, that's kind of work that they just kind of, oh yeah, that's good, you guys go do your work. But when it comes to marketing and communications, everybody's an expert, right? I mean, they'll see a brochure and it's like, oh, you know, this should be and, not or. And that billboard should be aqua, not teal. And oh, by the way, you know, this photo should be that photo. And so everybody thinks they know our business, but we all know the hard work and effort and the strategy that goes into positioning our agency to the world. And so thank you for the work that you do every single day. This, of course, is what AdWheel is all about. That is why we are here today. And it's about showcasing the very best in our public transit marketing and communications efforts and all the differences that we make. And if you have attended the AdWheel ceremonies in the past, today you're going to notice things a little bit differently because we have a new format. And the Apta Marketing and Communications Committee has worked very hard on this new format to provide different meaning and insight into showcasing our work and what's behind, what goes into all of that work. So we have this new format today, and when we award our grand award winners today, we're going to have a format where these 11 grand award winners are going to have a representative from their team take a seat on the interview panel set, and the rest of their team go back and take their seat in the audience, and then we're going to have a panel discussion to hear a little bit from these folks on what really was behind bringing this project or this program or this tool to life, and the value that folks thought behind the scenes on how to make that happen. So this afternoon, we're going to present these 11 grand award winners in 3 different categories. And that will be categories including campaigns to increase ridership and sales, campaigns to highlight transit needs and funding, and educational campaigns. And so we will be doing that with the 3 different levels of transit agencies, the small, the medium, and the large agencies. And then also our 4th category is our Apta business members. And I want to take a second to thank some 60 industry judges who volunteered their time to evaluate all of the 2016 entries and then to whittle those down and select who the award winners would be. So let's give a round of applause to all the folks who volunteered their time. So we want to get down to business and get right to work. And so I want to give you guys a look at the 4 grand award winners for the best campaign to increase ridership and sales. So let's go to the video.
CT Fast Track, the Connecticut Department of Transportation's new bus rapid transit system, began service on March 28, 2015.
The system features a 9.4-mile bus-only roadway, 10 stations, frequent service, prepaid fare collection, and uniquely branded buses. As with many large-scale public investments, there was some initial skepticism about the project. Soon after the system launched, a marketing campaign was introduced to have the riders themselves explain the positive impact CT Fast Track has had on their lives. A social media contest was held, and a select group of riders were invited to tell their stories in their own words. Their voices were combined with animation to create the ads.
I wanted to buy a house. I saw the buses. I was like, what are those new buses? I haven't seen those before. So I researched it online, found this house, and it was right next to CT Fast Track. I said, well, this is just perfect. Get on board at ctfasttrack.com.
CT Fast Track, my daughter loves it. She calls it the green bus. And my son was just fascinated with buses. Before, my oldest would be like, are you gonna be home late again, Mom? But now she knows I'll be home on time. Get on the green bus at ctfasttrack.com. It's awesome.
The ads were very effective in communicating some of the less obvious benefits CT Fast Track has to the community.
In fact, so effective that some folks doubted the riders' stories were real. So on our 1-year anniversary, we invited the featured riders to an event with the governor to highlight CT Fast Track's success. We've delivered over 3 million trips in the first year of operation and doubled transit ridership in the corridor.
We're happy to share the success story with our friends at Apta and look forward to future success with CT Fast Track.
Public transportation is the lifeblood of the Chicago region. The Chicago Transit Authority, Metro Commuter Rail, and Pace Suburban Bus provide more than 2 million rides each weekday. Despite rush hour service that is sometimes filled to the brim, there are times of the day when there are empty seats. In 2015, the Ride On campaign was launched by the Regional Transportation Authority in collaboration with the CTA Metro and Pace to help address this challenge. The campaign is specifically aimed at growing ridership in the recreational, visitor, and reverse commute markets. Knowing that most consumers understand the practical reasons to take public transit, Ride On plays to the rider's emotional side. It highlights the everyday reasons to ride. Ride On takes a unique approach to promoting public transit by using humor to remind consumers of all the frustrating aspects of not riding transit in a major urban area like Chicago. The campaign makes it very clear that the benefits of taking transit are many. It enhances their lifestyles by saving time, money, and offering peace of mind. The Ride On campaign is an integral part of the RTA's strategy to increase awareness of the transit system and improve perceptions of the region's transit agencies. Using a combination of digital and traditional advertising, Ride On promotes taking transit in a way that speaks directly to riders. So next time you visit the Chicago region, make sure you ride on and avoid an experience like this.
Please insert more money. Please insert more money.
Really?
More money, more money, more money. Are you crying?
Oh.
Okay, guys, we're having a few technical difficulties, so hang in there, okay? It's going to just take a couple seconds, so anyway, you guys enjoying the sessions today? Yeah? It's been a lot today. There's like 5 or 6 sessions during this time alone that are competing with us, by the way, so it'll be just another minute.
A learned reaction follows the same basic steps as a reflex. It starts with stimulus and receptor and ends with effector and response.
Hi, we're Pavlov, a transit-focused agency in Fort Worth with a track record of success. The stimulus. To add horsepower, we hired this guy, Richard Maxwell, former VP of Marketing for the T and past chairman of Apta's Marketing Committee. Trust us, this guy knows how to move people. A campaign was devised to introduce Richard and Pavlov to transit agencies across the U.S. First, a press release trumpeted the news to a range of trade publications. Then, an interactive email blast was sent across the nation, followed by phone calls and a LinkedIn ad campaign. We sent Richard on the road to visit old friends and prospects at industry trade shows like Apta and SWATA. There, Richard handed out brochures, tweeted, and blogged about his cross-country adventures. Sponsored programs helped Pavlov toot its horn and offered welcome refreshments to attendees. It didn't stop there. The multifaceted campaign included other emails carrying a video reel of our transit creative. The response. So how'd we do? Besides extra web hits, phone calls, and emails, Pavlov was invited to participate in a number of RFP opportunities, which has already led to 3 new clients in just 6 months, and more on the way. And it won us this great Apta award.
Those were great. Let's give them another round of applause. Those were fabulous. So before we bring our winners onto the stage, I'd like to introduce our panel moderator for this afternoon. He will help present our grand awards. And so I want you to help me welcome the chair of the Apta Marketing and Communications Committee for Apta and Dallas Area Rapid Transit's Assistant Vice President of External Relations, my friend Morgan Lyons. And assisting us today, we have a special guest. We're delighted to have with us today the CEO of the Jacksonville Transportation Authority and APTA's new vice chair. Please welcome Nat Ford.
Thank you, sir. I'm not going to kiss you.
Okay, so this is how it's going to work, folks. So the winners are going to be called up onto the stage, and we're going to ask them to take the middle steps here. They will take a photo with Nat and Morgan, and then one of the members of the team will serve as the panelist and take a seat over here on our interview panel set. The rest of the team will go back and take their seats in the audience, and that's how this is going to work today. So we're going to go ahead and bring our first grand award winner up for this afternoon, chosen from systems with less than 4 million annual riders. So please join us on stage, CT Fast Track.
Thank you, sir. Over here. Let's get on the step, on the X. Yeah, there we go. Congratulations. And we need over here. All right. Thank you. Congratulations. All right.
Thank you, CT Fast Track. So while he's taking his seat over on our set, we're going to go now for the next level of award, which is for the medium-sized systems. So we want to welcome now to the stage MetroLink, the Southern California Regional Rail Authority and one of our Southern California partners.
Congratulations. Which one of you holds this thing? Okay, congratulations. All right. Mark, are you the holder? No? Okay, great. Congratulations. Yeah. Here, why don't y'all walk this way, and then we'll look to the side. You'll take a seat, and if you guys will step off the ramp, that'd be great. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, MetroLink. So one lucky person gets to be the panelist to take their seat over here on the set. And we'll move right along to our grand award winner for the large transit systems, which is more than 20 million annual riders. So please come and join us on the stage, Chicago's Regional Transportation Authority.
Congratulations. Are you the, all right, who's holding it? All right, terrific. Thank you. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
And so for our final award winner in this category for best in increasing ridership and sales is our business group category, and that is to Pavlov Advertising.
Yeah, good to see you, sir. All right, congratulations. Here you go. Why don't you hold that? All right. All right.
Okay, so we have our first panel assembled, so I'm going to turn on over now to Morgan. Go ahead, Morgan.
All right, congratulations to our winners. And first, let me take a moment to ask you to join me in thanking Stephen Kendrick and Jack Gonzalez for their hard work from the Apta staff in putting all of this together. So this is all fairly painless stuff, guys, so it shouldn't be too hard. Richard, let me just kind of start with you, because one of the challenges that business members face is really tapping into the transit market, and kind of give us some insights about what your thinking was around how you might do that.
First of all, I'm trying to figure out if this microphone works. There we go.
There you go.
Well, for myself, it really seemed that the industry really understands that if you have experience in marketing transit, it's different than just marketing in general. For example, a lot of any agency that's going to do any engineering work, they typically hire a firm that has transit industry experience. And if they're going to do planning, they typically hire an agency that has transit planning experience. So why not somebody who has marketing experience in transit?
Very cool. And how do you think that's going to apply to other businesses as well, as to bring that transit experience in?
Absolutely,
correct?
that could work for any business member.
Okay. Mark, let's talk a little bit about your campaign. And you've got a situation where RTA's got there's a lot of brand awareness. Folks know that you're there. How do you cut through that to actually become relevant to the customers?
Well, first off, I think everyone saw we tried to humor. Hopefully it worked. I did hear some chuckles on that last TV advertising. I think we tried to use quick hitters. Use those 15-second TV commercials, a lot of digital. You don't have a whole lot of time to grasp people's attention. So we really tried to be quick, conversational. We also really, with our region, there's multiple transit agencies. This was really a regional campaign. And so we had 3 agencies, different fare systems, different structures, different ways people ride. So we really tried to just use humor and quick hits and just get to be top of mind, and then provide people the URL where they could go and get more information. So we didn't want to spend a whole lot of time, we didn't have a whole lot of time to be really informational.
So how many takes did it get to get him to cry?
So the beauty of Chicago, for all of you who've been there, we have a great improv and great comedy scene. And so these guys are awesome, and the outtakes are even better. Unfortunately, we don't have rights to show them, but he was great. And all the advertising that we did and all the shooting that we did, the actors and actresses were phenomenal.
Terrific. Rich, let's talk a little bit about Connecticut. And as I understand, there were some doubters that, oh my gosh, marketing and advertising actually worked and influenced ridership, and people loved the bus. What a great idea. But part of responding to that was not only to bring the customers in, but also some of your elected leaders. I think the governor was even involved. Tell us a little bit about how that worked and how you think that benefited you.
It's really Hello?
Yep, there you
It's really a tremendous story in Connecticut. We're very proud of our little BRT system. As you mentioned, it had been something that had been discussed for very many years. There were doubters not only about BRT, but some who thought it should be light rail. And there was a bias, and although Connecticut is it's a medium-sized state, really southwest Connecticut in towards New York City was very familiar with bus and rail transit. But in central Connecticut, where CT Fast Track is, it was really about reaching new people and new markets. And so the campaign that we introduced really was not strictly about transportation options, but it was about what it could do for people in terms of their day-to-day lives. So in terms of easier mobility, convenience, working while you travel, housing choices. For the first time, folks in this area had an option to live in the communities around Hartford and have a quick trip into downtown. So it was really about reaching not so much the tried and true transit user, but reaching out to folks that maybe had not tried transit before, and the proof is in the numbers. We've seen a doubling of ridership in really just a little more than a year, and that growth appears to be continuing. So we're in year 2 now, and it's climbing.
So what do you think the next act is?
Well, the sign is that we have lots of folks that want more of this service, and the challenge for us really is we set such a high bar. It really finding a way to continue to introduce these services elsewhere in the state with a backdrop of funding constraints and challenges. So the good news is that all the doubters out there have seemed to have disappeared, which is good news.
That is. So Mark from Metrolink, 2 Marks here, right? One of the challenges I think you probably face, although a small operator, by comparison, you're in a ridiculously large media market. Talk a little bit about how you really did your targeting to get those folks you needed to speak to.
I appreciate you recognizing that. We do campaigns that focus on the work end and the home end. On the home end, we used some geo-targeting tactics such as Facebook. We worked with Waze, Pandora, to really focus our ads in a specific area. We did more traditional tactics such as direct mail and billboards, also along a very specific corridor. For a direct mail piece, we would put on the direct mail piece the person's closest station so that they're familiar with how to get there and that the station is basically right in their backyard. So those tactics really helped.
So why do you think it helped you to go with the home end as opposed to the work end of the trip? And tell us a little bit about what drove those choices.
Well, we did both,
Okay.
but on the home end, we had just opportunities there that advertising allows us to get into someone's home. On the work end, it's a little bit more difficult because there's employers that we have to deal with, and so it's a little bit more challenging.
Okay. Richard, I don't want you to give up, well, why not go and give up some competitive secrets, right? What's the biggest thing, I guess, you have learned in moving from the public sector to the private sector?
Well, I guess my number 1 tip would be to enter the contest. That seems to be helpful in getting a lot of publicity. But basically, the same thing would apply to business members and any new campaign they've got. Is number 1, we had a very multi-targeted approach.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just going to touch them one way. We're going to have multi-touch points. And number 2, we really tried to resonate with them about what's going on, about that.
Okay. Mark, you mentioned humor and the role, and you do have, Second City and a whole lot of tradition there. But one of the things that's interesting about your campaign is it's very conversational. Why do you think that's so important for big corporate entities or public entities to have that conversational tone?
In our campaign specifically, we were really targeting the non-commute, the non-peak period, peak direction commuter. So to try to hit those people, it's about becoming top of mind. It's not necessarily trying to convince them day one, switch the way you travel. We really take the long view to say we want to increase our awareness, improve our perception, and those in turn will hopefully lead to the increase in ridership. But it's not, I go before our board and they want to know within the first 6 months how many new rides did we get. And we have to explain to them, that we're going after some niche markets. We are trying to grow awareness and perception and the other things that will ultimately take over time, build the ridership and get people to make that one weekend trip on our system that will hopefully they'll have a positive experience and they'll come back and maybe be able to use it for their commute and give us 500 trips a year through that mechanism. But if we can grow the recreational travel market, which is what we really targeted, that that was really our approach. And to hit those people, you got to start the conversation. And like I said before, we went with quick hitters, and we have so much information. Everyone rides transit differently. All three of our operators operate differently. So trying to get information to everyone that's going to cover everything in 15 seconds or in 15 seconds of a TV commercial or 5 seconds of a animated digital ad, it's not going to happen. And so we wanted to start the conversation, get people talking about transit, and become top of mind.
Okay. Rich, in terms of growing your ridership, do you feel like you've been adding net new riders, or how much of that is load shift? Or tell us a little bit about the kind of rider that you're getting you weren't getting before.
It's really extraordinary. What we're seeing is growth in, first in terms of number of people, the number of rides that people take, and also former non-transit users coming onto transit. So about 20% of our ridership gain has been previously the auto users. Previously a single occupant vehicle heading into the downtown every morning. 20% of our gain has been a result of those people diverting to the BRT system. What we've also seen, though, is an increase in trip making for other purposes. So it's not really a commuter line. It's people are using this day and night on weekends. We're seeing some of our strongest ridership coming on weekends, on Saturdays, associated with events in downtown Hartford. And I think I'd like to say that the marketing program has really helped that. There was we really introduced a fresh brand. CT Fast Track is a new brand for Connecticut. We updated what was previously just really blue, plain vanilla buses and applied not only a new paint scheme on the outside, but a remake of the interiors. There's Wi-Fi available, so it's really a remake, a rebranding of what bus service is in Connecticut. And I think that's really gone a long way to getting those riders on board.
Cool. So, Mark, let me just give you kind of the last question as we wrap up here. Reducing fares is one way, tried and true way to increase ridership. But have you seen a real multiplier effect in just kind of overall growth in your system? Absolutely.
Our initial projections was that we were going to get 6% lift in ridership. After the marketing campaign, we saw a 16% jump in ridership. So it by far surpassed our expectations. One of the things that we did right from the start, we ended up purchasing our own drone and did a video of Metrolink going up and down the line, put music to it, did editing completely in-house, and put that out on YouTube and had 110,000 views. That amplified our message along that corridor and throughout Southern California. I think those tactics really helped drive ridership and awareness. Cool, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating our winners. You guys
got a real future in this talk show stuff.
All right, you guys will.
Thanks to all of you, and thanks to Morgan. Great interviewing skills, Morgan. You know, it's interesting how you hear a lot of the common themes that we all experience in our transit agencies. I heard a lot of the things that we at LA Metro are dealing with just from listening to those folks. We're going to move on now to our grand award winners for the best campaigns highlighting transit needs and funding. So let's take a look at their work.
The landscape of Ventura County is as diverse as the people who live there. Miles of beautiful sandy beaches against a backdrop of majestic mountains that blanket vibrant communities and lush farmlands are a tremendous source of pride for local residents. However, like most thriving communities, there's room for improvement. With traffic on the rise, the region struggles to maintain local roads and freeways and lacks adequate funding for much-needed bus and rail service. Absent a local sales tax, Ventura County has no way to compete for state and federal funds. The Ventura County Transportation Commission is the regional transportation planning agency whose mission is to keep Ventura County moving. With local demand for transportation improvements on the rise, VCTC took the reins and launched a county-wide education effort to increase awareness about transportation issues facing Ventura County. The goal was to educate residents on what a transportation sales tax could mean to the region, using a straightforward message of repair, preserve, and improve. The multi-platform program included outreach, digital communications, social media, community newspaper, local radio, and direct mail. Each element informed interested constituents that the future of Ventura County was in their hands, directing them to the new KeepVCMoving.org website to review and comment on VCTC's proposed transportation improvement plan. The education effort was both strategic and efficient. It conveyed targeted messaging to a large population in both traditional and digital formats. All materials were designed to build on VCTC's most visible brand asset, its bus fleet. VCTC's effort was incredibly successful. Interest in the issue grew to 79%, and support for the potential tax measure jumped to 69%, 2 full points above the required 2/3 threshold in just 3 months.
Hello, I'm Paul Ballard, President and CEO of the Fort Worth Transportation Authority in Fort Worth, Texas. We serve a vibrant city with a booming population that is quickly nearing 1 million residents. I am honored to accept the Grand Award for our Transit Master Plan campaign. The campaign is particularly significant because it represents an opportunity for change in the way our system operates and how we can best meet the mobility needs of our region. We spent a year gathering input and then creating our plan. This winter, we created and published a 4-page insert in the Fort Worth newspaper to spotlight the master plan and to include a link to the master plan website. We couldn't be more pleased with the results. Publishing the master plan and promoting it through community meetings, subsequent online and print ads, and an email blast have continued to drive awareness about public transit and its importance in our region. So one of the key features of our new system is this NextBus app that allows us to know exactly when the bus is coming. I stay in my office or my home until I see the bus on my app. I walk out and I step right on the bus. For us, the master plan represents a bold change, a break from the past, and a look to the future of transit. A new way of looking at how to best serve our customers. We look forward to serving more places and more people with more possibilities. On behalf of the Fort Worth Transportation Authority and our principal consultant, Nelson Nygaard, I'd like to thank the American Public Transportation Association for this prestigious award. We are proud of the work we've done, and we look forward to a very bright future for public transportation.
Another great example of the work that we do every day. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Morgan and Nat to come on out again, and we're going to present our next 3 awards. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the winner representing systems with less than 4 million annual riders, and this for the category of Best Transit Needs and Funding, the Ventura County Transportation Commission.
Sir. Congratulations. There you are. Turn here and get a picture. All right, take a seat over there.
Thank you to VCTC, and he'll take a seat here on the interview panel. Now for the medium-sized system group, we bring up this year's winner for the best campaign to highlight transit needs and funding to the Fort Worth Transportation Authority.
Hey, Paul, good to see you. Here you go, thank you. All right. Hey, how you doing? Hey, good to see you. All right. Turn this way and get a... Terrific. All right, Paul, why don't you take a seat?
The Valley Transportation Authority is both the public transportation provider and the congestion management agency for Santa Clara County. 2 years ago, I launched Envision Silicon Valley under our board's leadership in order to engage our stakeholders in identifying the guiding principles that would help us develop a sales tax measure, which our board ultimately approved and will now be placed on the November ballot.
As the chair of the Valley Transportation Authority and as an elected official, it was really important to me and to the entire board that we had a very open and inclusive process. But those can be very hard to do, and especially in the public sector. And I'm so proud of the work that VTA did. They put together an inclusive, open process that was consensus-based.
We used an interactive microsite, social media, email, our blog, and live streaming to reach people online. We created text message-based surveys to engage people who don't have easy access to the internet. The microsite featured a budget challenge that invited people to invest $6 billion in transportation, simultaneously giving input and learning about the trade-offs involved with so many needs. All told, these efforts led to more than 7,000 engagements, reached at least 200,000 people, and opened up many opportunities to learn and participate. The public engagement process for Envision Silicon Valley would not have been successful without the hard work of dozens of talented and dedicated people at VTA. We are honored to receive this award and grateful for everybody at VTA who helped make this happen.
So we just wanted to make sure you guys were paying attention, so we slipped a little video in there. But I want to say thanks to the T who was up here earlier, and I would like now to bring up the next grand award winner, Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority. Thank you to VTA. I'm going to turn it now back over to Morgan for our next panel discussion.
A round of applause for everybody again. Hi, guys. Congratulations. So, Darren, let me just kind of start off with you, if you don't mind. I think the line repair, preserve, improve is pretty cool. Tell us the thinking about that, behind that.
Well, I'd love to say that we spent hours in the office contemplating the important elements of Ventura County's quality of life, all those types of things. But the fact of the matter is anytime you're moving forward with the concept of a local transportation sales tax measure, you better do your voter research. And in California, where we have the extremely high bar of a 2/3 vote requirement to pass a transportation revenue measure. If we only had to get 50%, I'm not going to say we'd do it in a walk in the park, but it certainly would be easier than 2/3. So we did a lot of voter research, and what we found were those three keys: repair, preserve, and improve. The biggest concern we had is making sure that we had those three in the right order, because we didn't want it to be repair, improve, preserve, because that would be RIP, and that would not be where we'd want our sales tax.
You don't want to go that way? RIP? Think there's a problem with that? Okay.
So it really did boil down to the fact that we wanted to, we took our voter research very seriously. We came up with those three hot button issues, and in that period of time, it was clearly what our voters had in mind.
Very good. Bernice, you guys have just another one of those small media markets that you guys work in and around San Francisco, right? Let's talk also a little bit about how you guys cut through the clutter with your campaign. So many things compete for our attention, and you're trying to talk about how you want to improve service. Talk a little bit about how you kind of cut through all of that to get the attention of your targets.
Well, we did a combination of sort of old-fashioned grassroots outreach. We went out to numerous organizations and went into their environments to really engage them. We also set up groups to advise us. We set up a system of creating goals to get buy-in. So we got those through this very extensive process, and then criteria for what kind of problems should be solved with these transportation solutions. So there was buy-in and extensive outreach from the beginning. And then we turned that into a more modern node of communications, and we began using electronic tools. We did the microsite, as you saw in the video, and that really got people to physically challenge themselves to solve these things, to use the criteria and goals that they had set forth, and to play with these exercises when you've got a budget and what can you do or not do. And then to reach out to others who might not have access, we did these text campaigns for people who might not have access to a computer. So we really tried to reach every aspect of the community and every individual in the community so they could provide us input.
So with the interactive campaign, how long did it take before you got the first email or comment, I need more money to make this work?
We did see a few people. We had over 2,000 people who did the exercise and went all the way through. I think some people got a little frustrated because they couldn't find enough money.
Yeah, okay, that never happens in our world, Paul, because you guys are going through a master plan now with a lot of different things happening, rail expansion and improved bus service, all of that. Your campaign really is focused on reaching people through local organizations, local stakeholders, kind of bulk shopping, if you will. Talk a little bit about the thinking behind that and some of the stakeholders that were particularly important for you to reach.
Right. Well, when we started at the very beginning of putting the RFP together to select a firm to work with us to design the master plan, we had some basic principles that we built into that RFP that we wanted to achieve through the master planning process. The first step that we took was, and we had to fight the planners on this, is we said, okay, we do not want a fiscally constrained plan. Oh, you can't do that, you know, FTA requires, et cetera. So we had to fight that battle, and then they said, okay, because my response was, if you want a fiscally constrained plan, just go to the rack over there and get our system map, and that's where we're at. So we, first of all, we drew lines everywhere within Tarrant County, and without regard to the city lines, county lines, or whatever, and developed a system that would appeal to everybody. So we designed that right in. The second thing we did was, when you talk to citizens or elected officials about your 2035 plan, you lose the majority of them as soon as you say 2035. So we focused on what can we do in 5 years with a reasonable amount of funding. So those were really two of the principles. Of course, we did multiple presentations and involved the city council directly, and so we're making great progress, but we started right at the very beginning as we designed the RFP and as we went out to the community to come up with a product that people would be intrigued with and they would want to participate in and support.
And did you find that you learned some things through this exercise that you're able to apply on, you know, as you continue, again, with current projects and just kind of day to day?
Oh, absolutely. We learned so many lessons and had so much great input that it was an extremely successful undertaking.
Great. Darren, I think, you know, one of the things we sometimes take for granted is that we have these mobile billboards called vehicles. Let's talk a little bit about how you used your vehicles in your efforts.
So I've been with the Ventura County Transportation Commission for about 9 years, and for a number of years we had we use a contract service, and we had these very boring white jalopy type style commuter buses, and we had an issue with our contractor. We had a recession. We only got worse white jalopy buses for our system due to an issue with the contractor. But then we had the opportunity when we were upgrading our fleet, and all this time those buses had a name that didn't have anything about the Ventura County Transportation Commission on it. No one had any idea who we were or what we were. So we had this crazy idea that we'd actually put our name on our buses, and we would certainly upgrade the colors. We are on the coast. We have sunsets. You can see that in California we wear blue quite a bit, and our blue buses were just another way of being able to get that out.
Get the memo. Well,
so exactly. Well, this is what happens when you're from Fort Worth. It's a little different color. So. So the idea was, how do we get our brand out there? We're a relatively small suburban commuter system. We get lost in the noise. The best thing I can go is, like last week I was at an event. There was a little bit of wine tasting going on. The bartender says, dude, I love your new buses. They're bitchin'. So we're connecting.
Is that a tagline in your next campaign?
That's exactly it. We're going to put that into our next ad line, okay. Absolutely. That's our AdWheel for next year.
There you go.
Thank you.
I think Mark may steal that for Chicago. That sounds like something you might get out of the Second City guys. So, Bernice, in your case, you know, you guys used a lot of channels, talked to a lot of different groups. How did that all come together in reaching consensus? Because, you know, you get 3 people together, you're going to get 5 ideas about transit. So how did you go about using this to reach a consensus toward your product?
By engaging the community to set these goals about what we initially set out to accomplish, and then specific criteria, when we looked at what would be on the measure, we went back to that. That was our guiding light. So it really helped us define what would be on the measure and what those goals were, and if those specific projects were going to accomplish those goals. And things were woven through like safety, enhancing mobility, providing services for seniors, improving the infrastructure. So every time we were evaluating a project, that was our guiding light, and we went back to those goals.
Okay. Now, Paul, one of the things you saw was growth in website traffic, so there's a lot of engagement with the campaign. Have you seen continued engagement? Are you able to sustain that? And is that even starting to translate maybe into some ridership?
Yes, we've seen continued engagement, and I think what we have strived to achieve is that we really treat different interest groups differently, and we develop programs and presentations that are really tailored to the different groups. I think one of the groups that we have found in the community that's really been interested and supportive is the Real Estate Council. Those folks really get it. I mean, they take the lead, and they have been very, very supportive. When we were making presentations before the council, folks from the real estate community were speaking up in support of public transportation. So we did that with several different groups. We also took the opportunity to promote what we call our Easy Ride program, which is where employers can support their employees by providing transportation, taking advantage of the federal tax code. And so we really worked that angle. Turned out to be one that was very, very interesting, and people were very interested in. So those are a couple of the approaches that we took that we believe are putting more people on our trains and buses right now.
Terrific. Great information. Thank you all. Darren, we're looking for the T-shirt. All right. Thank you, guys. Join me in thanking our panel. I'll step off that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan, and thank you to all of the award winners. And now we're to our final category, and this is for Best Education Campaigns. So we're going to go ahead and show you the videos for these last 4 candidates.
Oklahoma City is going places, and Embark is helping to get there. Our journey is taking us forward. In 2015, Embark implemented free Wi-Fi across our entire fleet, helping current bus riders stay connected while appealing to the next generation of riders. We rolled out our new service with the Say Hi to Free Wi-Fi campaign. We chose social media as the primary channel to get the word out due to its targeting and measurement capabilities, as well as being a great forum for humor. We couldn't have asked for better results. Customer engagement soared during the 1-month campaign, and riders have embraced the new service. Free Wi-Fi is one of the many ways Embark is helping serve our growing city. As we set our sights on the future, Oklahoma City and Embark are moving forward together.
The Rapid has been on the leading edge of public transportation in Michigan since it was formed in 2000. Since then, ridership has increased by over 7 million. The Rapid built Michigan's first bus rapid transit system, and it has won more awards for excellence than any other system in the state. But as with similar systems, ridership alone cannot sustain the cost of running a world-class bus line. It takes the support of the non-riding community to keep service running.
The public transportation industry is often faced with the challenge of appealing to people who don't use our service. We wanted to show our service as a force for improving the overall quality of life and economic vitality in the Grand Rapids area. We're not just about moving someone from point A to point B. Riding the Rapid is really about community and the ways that public transportation changes lives for the better every day. It was a lofty goal, but what we wanted with this campaign was to make people fall in love with the Rapid.
The Rapid chose Lansing-based Good Marketing to carry out the mission.
In focus groups, it was clear that the people of Grand Rapids had a deep empathy for other people. They recognized that every person who rides the bus has a story. And while getting people to fall in love with a bus was a stretch, falling in love with what it provides was absolutely possible.
So, More to the Ride was born, utilizing broad awareness tactics of television, radio, and billboards to introduce the conversation to the public. while relying on digital and social media vehicles to make deeper, longer-lasting connections with the general public. And although the campaign is still in its infancy, More to the Ride has generated higher than normal positive conversations online, as well as more than 10 times the engagement rate of other online videos, making this one of the Rapids' most successful campaigns to date. Now, what's not to love about that?
On the banks of the South Platte River, near the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, a dream started that is now coming true. A dream of connections, possibilities, better opportunities, and better lives fueled by transportation. The extended Denver metro area has become a thriving metropolis, with RTD as the catalyst, transforming into one of the fastest growing 21st century cities. And now in 2016, we're embarking on the next phase of our transportation transformation.
It's an exciting time to be here, and it's only getting better. 2016 is going to be big.
And when we say big, we mean doing something that no transit agency has done before. Opening 4 new rail lines in 1 year, including the A line to DIA, the B line to Westminster, the G line to Arvada Wheat Ridge, and the R line through Aurora. And how did we market this monumental effort? RTD's in-house marketing team took a collaborative approach, brainstorming ideas and concepts to determine what would click with customers, generate excitement, educate, and help long-term recall. We ultimately decided to focus on design and messaging within the context of size and scale, with big, bold words, modern typefaces, color, shape, and ample white space to underscore the magnitude of these openings and their enormous collective impact. By emphasizing line letter designations, destinations, and benefits, we successfully created a mirror of our growing region and RTD's place in it. And did it ever create impact? The ABGR campaign generated eye-popping results in print, outdoor, digital broadcast, on-vehicle, and non-traditional media. As the precursor and inspiration to opening campaigns in 2016, ABGR did its job on an international scale. Now, with 2 openings down and 2 more to go, we've been greeted by record opening day crowds, tremendous ridership on the new lines, and an educated public, excited for more new transit options that make it easier to connect with cities, the region, and the world.
In 2013, BYD opens an electric bus factory in Lancaster, California, a city suffering from an unemployment rate at 10.9%. The local community may have been aware BYD opened, but the problem was stakeholder education was lacking. Too many people outside the city were not aware of the speed of growth, community impact, and the good-paying jobs BYD was creating where so many companies were leaving California. So we decided to show them. A marketing video was at the top of the idea list, but we didn't think that alone was enough. More was needed to connect the audience with BYD. And what a better way to do this than to have the talented workforce tell that story in their own unique way. No actors and unscripted. Over the course of 3 weeks, we shot, edited, designed collateral, including a website. Creating the campaign material was the first step. The second step was outreach. The video played at several events, including the special board meeting and press conference to announce Antelope Valley Transit Authority's commitment to become the nation's first large-scale electric transit fleet by 2018. But what about the results? In regard to the job recruiting efforts, the campaign has helped increase job applications and has led to a steady 15 new hires per week. The video had over 5,000 views between our Facebook and YouTube pages, and thousands more from events, meetings, and outreach programs within a matter of months. Media from all over the world also covered the growth BYD was experiencing. The campaign impressed Los Angeles city and county leaders as well. BYD today now employs over 300 talented workers and has plans to triple that within a few years. Even as you sit here during the AdWheel Awards, 70 miles from your seat, a new factory is being built to 450,000 square feet to build over 1,500 zero-emission buses per year. really trying to accomplish is to connect the people building the buses and to the people riding buses, to connect community leaders with the organizations in need of funding to deliver on-time quality service, and connect BYD to the right people in the right place to build a future for clean transportation. After all, isn't that what public transportation is all about? It's not to get them from one place to another. It's connecting people to the things, places, and people in their lives.
Great work. I'm going to go ahead and bring Morgan and Nat back out here before we bring up our last award winners. So for our final category, we will present the grand awards for best education campaigns. And we will be starting with the smallest transit agencies, those fewer than 4 million annual riders. And we would like to bring Embark up on stage. And our next grand award winner in this category is the Rapid. Thank you, the Rapid. The next award goes to the largest transit agency category with those with over 20 million annual riders, and this goes to an agency near and dear to my heart because that's where I was before I came here to LA Metro. So come on up, Denver's Regional Transportation District. Thank you, guys. And our final grand award winner in the educational category is to the Apta business member, and that is BYD Inc. Come on up. Thank you, BYD. And while our final panelist takes his seat, I'm going to turn it back over to Morgan to lead our final panel.
All right, congratulations again to everybody. All right. So, Jennifer, one of the comments in the video is that you wanted people to fall in love with the Rapid. Love a bus? How do you know that folks were actually doing that?
Well, it's not so much about loving the bus, it's loving what the bus represents. As we're telling the stories, the real stories of the people on our vehicles, we want people to have that emotional connection. When you fall in love, it's about possibility, it's about seeing things in a new way, really waking up to a different connection. And that's what we wanted to show in these stories. One in particular, we were telling the story of a man that has autism, and he uses the bus to go to work every day. He takes the bus to church by himself. He lives with his sister and her husband. And we've seen a lot of support from autism awareness groups and people that have
someone in their life that has autism that didn't really think about transit as being one of the important support tools. Showing that Joel can do all these things and the success that he can achieve because he has the support and the tools that he needs, that helps people look at transit in a very different way.
Cool. Steve, you guys have a significant issue with a number of expansions through the years. Let's talk a little bit, and a number of openings this year. Let's talk a little bit about the impact and the number of impressions and how you've measured your success so far.
Well, the impact and the results of that ABGR campaign were phenomenal. I mean, 161 million impressions, 181 unique website visitors, and even carrying over into this year for the openings. Our goal was really to set the stage for what was to come this year and to create and generate excitement and awareness about those openings on an individual as well as at a collective level, to get the micro communities as well as the community at large really involved and invested into everything. And for example, this year when we started opening our first 2 lines, we had such awareness and exposure that we had 85,000 people take free rides on the opening of our A line, which is to the airport. We had tens of thousands on our B line. We've just had so much significant outpouring of support and awareness and just general excitement from everyone. It's just been a phenomenal experience for us to be part of.
Very cool. Yeah, having been out there recently, it's interesting to see how they come together and openings, and glad y'all aren't too busy.
Well, yeah, it's been a great year. It's been a great series of years really for us, and we've got some more work to do. We've got a few more lines to get open this year, and then really just it's about cross promotion of all those services and really opening up those new possibilities and new destinations to our riding publics.
So Michael, let's talk a little bit about transportation in Oklahoma City, and one of the challenges I know all of us face as transit communicators is balancing effective communication and attention-getting communication without looking too flashy, because that can be a challenge. How did you guys strike that balance?
Well, we positioned the campaign so that it was using our own assets, things that we already had, things that were readily available to us, and our resources. And it was only a month-long campaign, and what we saw was a tremendous result in engagements. And as stewards of everything that's given to us, we find that what we want to do is make sure that to those people we're having those conversations with, that they consider us trustworthy, and that we're using the resources that they entrust us with the best we can. And we're doing that by, again, showing that we're using our resources. We used as much simple photography in different aspects like that and social media as we could to be able to get a small but a mighty campaign out in front of others.
Okay. Let's talk about electric buses. And one of the things that you guys have been busy about, and he talks about in the video, is how you really use that as a recruiting tool to try to get folks interested in coming to work there. Let's talk a little bit about how that works.
All right, so we obviously believe that we're building towards the future, a petroleum-free, emission-free future where we're harnessing the sun, using solar and battery to charge buses and provide electrified zero-emission buses. And that people that are involved in that, whether you're a bus operator, whether you're a technician on the bus, whether you're building the bus, are really part of the future. They're part of a sea change in our whole society. And we want to make sure that they feel that excitement, they understand what they're part of, that they're doing something revolutionary important. They can go home and talk to their kids and grandkids about their jobs. And by showing the excitement that our current employees had through that video, we were really able to reach out and connect with people that are thinking about needing a job, wanting to make a job change. And it's had a dramatic impact on the number of interviewees that come through our lobby every day. We're interviewing 5, 6, 7, 8 people a day.
Wow.
And adding people at a feverish pace. So it's been a real exciting and very worthwhile effort.
And you guys have some news, I think, coming up. Is there an event coming up?
Yeah, so we've got two expansions that we're moving as fast as we can based on permitting and environmental impact studies. But tomorrow we're doing a groundbreaking on a 40,000 square foot expansion on our existing building, and phase 3, which will be in another few months, will be adding another 250,000 square feet to that, going all the way out to H Street. So we'll end up with about 450,000 square feet altogether here in the next 12 months.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah, hopefully it'll accommodate another 1,000 workers.
Very good. So a full little bit of disclosure, Jennifer and I have worked reasonably hard on the Community Grows campaign. It does influence a good bit of our lives.
Just a little.
Let's talk a little bit about how that influenced the thinking behind More to the Ride and why it was important to get people to think about transit in what I've heard before, a new and interesting way or new and exciting way.
Yeah, I've said that once or twice,
Once or
haven't I?
twice, yeah.
Well, the Community Grows campaign is, again, about thinking beyond just the bus. It's not about getting from point A to point B. It's about everything that that bus represents in terms of community value, economic vitality, quality of life, and how it influences the lives of people. And that's the same story that we wanted to tell. We didn't use the words, but the theme, the branding of the Community Grows campaign is, I think, very much embedded in what we're doing. We're talking about how individuals in our community are successful because they have this thing. I mean, the stars of the video are not the buses. It's the people living their lives, going through their day, accomplishing things, being successful, doing what's important to them, and they're doing it because they have this thing that helps them accomplish that. That's what we want to be, I think, not only in Grand Rapids, but as an industry. We want to be seen as a tool that makes people's lives better.
Okay. Steve, you guys, again, have had this sustained campaign and working off of the letters of the different lines. What are some of the different and innovative ways what are some of the different ways you attacked that and distributed that information? I think you guys did pedicabs or something like that?
Yeah, we actually utilized a lot of non-traditional techniques. We knew that thrust of our campaign being size, scale, largeness, if you will, and impact. We needed to make an impact in locations that people would expect to see it and places where they would not expect to see it. So in addition to all the traditional tactics, we use our vehicles as giant mobile billboards, trains just plastered with big ABGR. We created a microsite. We did a ton of social media. We did advertising in cinemas. We did a variety of just different advertising and techniques all over the place that people would normally look for. Pedicabs was another example. That's a big transportation mechanism because we have a lot of sporting and other events going on in downtown Denver and our major corridors. So we just plastered that message all during those summer months when people were out and about just so that we'd see it over and over and over and over again. And it would really resonate with them and they'd take shape with those colors, those line designations, and those destinations to really begin to sort of interpret them for themselves, own them, and then also follow through via the microsite we had created to just get all the information that they could. And we just kept doling it out in increments until we got to the point where we were actually starting to open these lines, and that was kind of the payoff for each community.
Very cool. Michael, one of the elements or some of the content in your ads was about introducing Wi-Fi on your fleet. And I understand that you guys also take some of those vehicles out as mobile hotspots now at different events. Tell us a little bit about how that's been received and the thinking behind that.
Well, the thinking is very much tied to the Apta campaign of public transportation and the community. And what we wanted to do is position our resources as a community tool. And be able to be a partner, but not only a partner, but a neighbor. And one of the ways we've done that is we've positioned our buses at events. They've become hotspots. We've also been called upon when we've had unfortunate, whether natural disasters or some type of things take place, where we've had our buses there to help evacuees from an area that may be flooding. They were able to get there, use that as a way to contact family members with their own mobile devices or what have you, let them know they're okay when other networks are down and unavailable. And we've also used it even with our own fire departments in our communities by leveraging our buses to allow operators to cool off, whether it's or not operators, but firefighters to cool off in the buses. Use that also as what we call a JIC or a Joint Information Center, when we've had disasters occur in our area or emergency events. So it's, again, positioning our assets in a way that's unexpected. And they also find that the community has found that there's value in that. And that's, I think, something that we're all aiming to achieve.
Terrific, thank you. So we began this round of questioning earlier today with the first question was for a business member, so let me wrap up with a question to a business member. How important is it for a business member to really connect to the community they serve, and how can communications help you do that and make that connection?
Well, it's priceless. You can't not do it, and you just cannot overestimate the importance of being a good community citizen, a corporate citizen. Connect with the community and help it thrive and grow. That's what you're there for. We've just recently combined with the AVTA, the Antelope Valley Transit Association, to fund an endowment at the local college, Antelope Valley College, for zero-emission technology research. It's a 5-year endowment commitment we've made. We've participated with the Boys and Girls Club. We've sponsored a solar race car the high school wanted to build. We've done a lot of networking through the community to make sure that we're a good corporate citizen and a value to the community, and B, to engage the community with us in terms of a place to be, a place to want to work, and a product that they want to be proud of producing and saying, hey, made in Lancaster. So you absolutely can't overestimate the importance of that.
Terrific, thank you very much. And thanks to our panel. Join me in thanking our final panel. If you guys will, all right. If you guys will take a step that way. Pauletta?
Well, thank you very much, Morgan, and all the award winners. I mean, this is just so inspiring to see the work that everybody does every day. And that concludes this year's ceremony, but you're already going to start hearing about getting ready for the next round of awards. You'll be hearing more from Apta soon about that. And we also hope that you'll join us for the Apta Marketing and Communications Workshop, the end of February through March 1st. That's going to be in Tampa, Florida, so you'll be getting more information from Apta about that. I want to thank Morgan Lyons today. I think Morgan might have a future in 60 Minutes or something like that. He did a great job today, so let's give Morgan a round of applause. And also Nat Ford for helping us distribute the awards today. Thank you very much, Nat. You'll be able to see all of the entries and the award winners on Apta's website, so if you would like to see all those in more detail, feel free to see Apta's website. And I just want to say so long to all you guys, hoping that you will enjoy the Los Angeles experience, that you'll get out there and take Metro's system, have a little downtime, and see the fabric of the city. And I'm so pleased to have been here today and to be your host. And I also want to thank Jack Gonzalez and Stephen Kendrick. Thank you guys so much for all your work. There's Jack right there. And Morgan, who put this whole thing together. These guys worked so hard to come up with this new format along with the other members of the Marketing and Communications Committee. So one more round for all those guys who helped put a new format together. It took a lot of work. So on behalf of Apta and all of us here today, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the conference.